All right, let's start the daily watchlist review of June 2nd. See whether there are any outstanding setups that deserve some proper attention. Not really that much happening lately. This was a name that we called out yesterday. Had a good first day. Let's see whether this move sustains or it fades away. But that's looking promising. Aeva, AEVA, Aeva Technologies, is definitely one that has been flagging on the relative trend monitor. Had a good first leg, now it's basing. So anything above 30, key level is $30, might be very, very interesting. Definitely has plenty of fuel to run that one. AFRM has been holding the range quite well. It's still short on volume, but this one looks like it wants to go. AFRM looking for levels above 75.30 because the range starts breaking to the upside. Moving averages could now start acting as support, so it could have a first stop 15% above. Let's see. Yeah, not much. These early names. AMC, good first day. Solid volume as usually for this speculative name. AMPX could be worth some attention. Let's see how it develops around the 22.5 levels. If it breaks those with power, we're looking at all-time high ranges. And then given it's a high ADR, this one could definitely run. APLD, Applied Digital Corp. Similar case, I'm interested in levels above $50. Basically has had quite the upside trend. Then with the market weakness faded, but it was one of the first to recover. So this one has room to run for sure. Question is when. All right, APPN, very strong KP yesterday. Now we're getting to the good stuff. With these, I like having a alert set at some of the weakness levels from the previous day, just to see whether I could get a grab. If not, outlook for it once it establishes a new range. APPS, still hold my position, haven't touched it. That's a position I took yesterday. ASPI. Couple of reasons. Close to a range break. Has been showing solid amount of strength. Looks good on the hourly as well. Looks like it wants to run higher, gets tighter. So if it breaks this level and then immediately after we have the next range break, this one could definitely run. And it's showing relative strength to its peers, not only the market. BOTP, I still have majority of my position. This looks incredibly strong, but then, yeah, let's see. It acts much better than FCell, that's for sure. But then, for some reason, it still does not want to go. BTQ, another one that we're watching key levels. Key level here is over 5 USD. Good first run, almost 90%. Now looks like it wants to base a bit. Two inside days, some names sold off a lot more aggressively. This one is still above a rising 10-day. So let's see how it handles next levels. I got my alert on it. CRDO, we mentioned this one yesterday, but I'm still looking forward to this one. So anything above $244, so $244, I would be interested in near all-time highs. Still basing or trying to base above a rising 10-day. So let's see if it can break and then run. Other similar names have already faded, but this one keeps on showing strength. Dido, wow, this one shook me out so bad. Shook me on the first day, actually. I entered quite early. I entered on the first hourly one, and then it shook me out a bit later that day. Never re-entered. That was one we mentioned yesterday. So anything above 166 played out perfectly well. Let's see. I wasn't able to get a position. I missed it. Good runner overall. DPRO, DPRO, Dragonfly, is one of the few defense names that have kept their ranges. So let's see whether it has room to run. Rising lows, getting tighter range. So I'll be interested in levels around 8.1, whether it could run then to a temporary range high. I've been missing this one deliberately for the past few days. It looks quite random to me. DUOT, Duos Technologies Group. It's already up 90%, so 10 times ADR. Now it's establishing a range. It's interesting above 15.2 of whether it wants to run. So I'm adding this one to the watch list. I would probably not be aggressive with exposing myself into it, but just for the sake of tracking down the setup and how it played out. Elva, we have kept mentioning this one for the last few streams. So this one is very interesting above 12 USD. 5 inside days now on top of the range. So volatility contracting, rate shrinking, that's the perfect conditions for a solid breakout. You have a well-defined stop loss as well. Nothing really to feel bad about. ENPH finally catching a breather. Let's see how it plays out after this monstrous run of almost 100% from the lows. If it manages to establish a good base, prepare for a second run, we might get ourselves exposed. FCL recovered last part of the day yesterday. Wasn't looking very good at one point, but I've collected some profit here along the way, so I'm not planning on letting this one that easily. I'll maybe even add some exposure to this one if it breaks 22.15 FCEL, fuel cell energy. But I still have my remaining position here, so maybe I'll not add, but a good level to track. Yeah, not much, that much to see. This time has been quite bad to me. I've got shaken out so many times. I got shaken out here. I think I was shaken out from this entry here as well. And then there was even a third one. Probably I tried it here again. It's looking so random. Not the best experience. KULR Technology Group. Still flagging after that almost an 8-year run. So 5 inside days, anything above $5, $5 is interesting. Support on the rising 10 day above a almost a yearly range now. That looks pretty decent of a setup. Needs to pick up on the volume if you want to break out with power and maintain that trend for a few days. But it does have all the right conditions in place. LPTH, that's one we mentioned yesterday, still looking pretty decent. It shook out yesterday. I did not grab a position. It was a weakness day, risk off day. I didn't want to get exposed just with the context of not getting a next day market weakness at the open stress on me. It did not look like we would have a gap up the next day, although one could never know, of course. But I didn't want to put myself in any names. But this one remains on my tracker. So LPTH, definitely interested in levels above 17.30. If this one wants to go, it definitely has all the right conditions in place. Multi-month range, trying to break out from good first leg. Just need some push. Actually, yesterday that one shook me out. I entered as I had planned on this weakness here, where I stopped up yesterday's low, and then it shook me out for another 5%, and then it ended somewhere there. I'm not too sad this happened. Magna chip semiconductor. Let's see how it plays out today. Maybe I would enter this time on strength. MX, if it breaks yesterday high, which is 856, 8.56 for MX, let's say if we follow through on strength, after shaking out most, I would say, of the folks that get into EP play, that could be a nice add today. Much for the rest of the names. Most are completely random or digesting. Held position on this one. Focus on this weakness day right here. Free break on right now. Let's see how it moves. Right, QS is trying to set up a range. Although this name has been so beaten down, I'll set an alarm just to remember to track it. Probably won't take any position. RGTI is one that has stood out. Rigetti Computing. Trying to set up a flag. Let's see whether it gets some support on the rising 10-day. But definitely interesting above 26.5 USD. I would enter this one. Although it slowed momentum, but then range is contracting, volume is contracting as well. All the right conditions in place for it to run. No, still going on after the EP. I was hoping to get some kind of retraction and then jump inside. But doesn't look like anytime soon. He said a gigantic run. SWKS remains in a ready to go position. I would start tracking above $78 and then would enter around 84 bucks if it reaches this level. But it definitely lost some momentum with yesterday's range break. Still on the watchlist, however. SWKS. TSSI played exactly as we anticipated yesterday. So I would be looking to get a position around 16.15 USD. With the hope that it break this range, I would also be looking to get a position above 17.50. Then the case is much stronger that it wants to go to the upside. Reason for having a earlier entry just to have a better risk reward trade. But this one looks like it wants to go. Mark, this one shook me on the second day. I entered somewhere here, then it shook me out. All right, that covers it for today. Not much more to say. Thank you very much.